and other special guests. But let's get right to the calls because this is really important. I want to hear from you. How you guys feeling? We're less than 24 hours out from Election Day. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Alan. Alan is first up on PTL. Hey, Alan, where are you calling from?
Brian, let me talk to you. Calling from Philadelphia. All right, so you may not agree with what I'm about to say, but I'm going to say it. I look at MAGA and I see a modern-day Nazi organization. Now, that's horrible to say. Everything that Donald Trump promotes is exactly what Adolf Hitler has done, and if you know anything about history. Mm-hmm. I really feel that Kamala Harris, once she wins the election, which she will do, she should go after them. She should go after the Marjorie Taylors.
Well, what do you mean by go after? What do you mean by that specifically?
If you have to go after them, you need to put these people behind bars. They're a cancer to this country.
All right, so let me ask you a couple questions. Okay, so let me respond to what you just said. First of all, we're on the same side. We definitely want Kamala Harris to win. That's obvious, right? I think some of Donald Trump's verbiage, especially lately, is similar to the verbiage that Adolf Hitler used. The reason why I don't compare him and say he's Adolf Hitler is because Hitler killed 7 million Jews, and as much as we both hate Donald Trump, and trust me, I hate him immensely, I don't think he wants to murder millions of people. But his verbiage lately, and he wants to be an evil, murderous dictator. So from that aspect, I'm not going to disagree with you, okay? The problem I have with going after political opponents, see, that's something Donald Trump wants to do. Listen, if somebody breaks the law, Alan, I agree with you. Marjorie Taylor Greene is an idiot. She says stupid things. She shouldn't be in office. She's a noisemaker, and she's not a lawmaker. But go after her. I think we need to go after these people at the voter booth. Right now, listen, if they break the law, then I'm with you. Mm-hmm. Okay? Does that make sense?
It does make sense. I agree with you.
Yeah.
But I still see these people are anti-democrat. They're
terrible. They're terrible. They're some
modern day terrorists.
They're some of the worst people that America has to offer. I'm with you, Alan, 150%. But what we need to do, if you haven't already, Alan, and by the way, thank you for the call. I appreciate you. I think we're on the same page. What we need to do is vote. What we need to do is vote these people out. You know, you look at the Ted Cruz race in Texas. We're going to talk about a local race here in Las Vegas, which affects everybody. We'll get to that later. You need to vote these people out, right? These are noisemakers. These aren't lawmakers. Listen, I don't agree with everything Ocasio-Cortez says. I had the opportunity and the pleasure to meet with her last week. She has seen some of my videos on social media. I don't agree with her on a lot of different things. However, I think she's a very intelligent lady. I think she means well. And I think she cares about the American people, and she's willing to call out nonsense. Now, I wish she would be a little bit more vocal about some of the people at her own party, but I still admire her, and you could admire somebody and not always agree with them, and that's what I tell these MAGA Republicans, and that's what I tell the moderate Republicans, because these MAGA Republicans are lost, right? You're not going to get through to them. Moderate Republicans, boy, you know, I'm still on the fence. I don't want to vote for Trump for obvious reasons, but I don't like Harris's policies. Okay, you don't like her policies. This election is more than just about policy. It's about human decency. It's about having a moral compass. It's about our Constitution. It's about our democracy. So if you don't agree with all of her policies, that's not enough for me, as far as I'm concerned, to say I'm not voting for Kamala Harris. This is about decency, and it's about our democracy. Thank you for the call, sir. 702-221-7283 is the number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation. Let's go to Jeff. Jeff is next up on PTL. Hey, Jeff, what's going on, man?
Whew, let's go. So, Brian, I guess I would sum it up, my feelings as I just finished warming up in the bullpen, and I've gotten called into the game, and I've got some butterflies, but it's time to extinguish this MAGA nonsense. Yeah. So let's get that done. I did want to, though, say a few things. The Jeffrey Epstein, that he's the wingman to facilitate pervert Trump's unwanted groping and sexual assaults and his thirst for underage girls.
Yeah.
That is who you support, MAGA. That's a fact. That's not an opinion.
Right.
Your guy is a pedophile. So Max Crosby, Nick Bosa, nice going.
It's funny that you
boys
say
still
Max.
rolling?
It's funny that you say Max Crosby because I put up Minshew in a Crosby picture when they met Donald Trump a few months ago, and I said they're both getting embarrassed this season. The Raiders are 2-7, and I said the other guy who's a liable rapist felon is going to be embarrassed tomorrow, Jeff. So let's hope that happens, my friend.
I like it.
Let's hope that happens, and I hope we can call with some joy later this week, and hopefully we get the same result that we want. Let's go to Joseph. Joseph is next up on PTL. What's going on, Joseph?
Yeah, hey, Brian. Okay, here's my piece. Hearing Trump saying about shooting at Liz Cheney and the fake news, as he called them, that's what Liz Cheney's saying. That Trump is trying to be a dictator like Hitler, despite the fact that he's saying that he's not Hitler, but despite the fact he is. And that's what he's trying to do. All these MAGA Republicans are trying to create more political violence. And what's to stop him from trying to commit another January 6th act?
Well, I think that might happen regardless, Joseph. I think you're right. And Joseph, nothing is stopping him, right? He doesn't respect the law. He thinks he can get away with anything. He's been a snake his entire life. And I'm with you, Joseph. I'm with you 150%. And let's hope we get the result we want tomorrow, my friend. Thank you for the call. Let's go to Ray. Ray is next up on PTL. Hey, Ray, where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, I am in eastern Iowa. How are you today?
I'm doing good, Ray. You know, I've seen some of those polls in Iowa. One poll that came out that just said that Harris has a slight lead. Are you buying into that?
I am, and I'd like to share why, and I'd like to also discuss one or a few things
Sure.
what your Walsh had talked about earlier. So,
sure,
I am, and here's why. Women are motivated. Number one issue is abortion, by far, not the economy. And men are. Look out for our women. We're pretty progressive. We have gone Trump the last 2 times, but remember, we voted for Obama 2 times in a row as well. So
yep.
Kind of a little bit of a bellwether there. And Seltzer's reputation is on the line with this poll. Like, she has been dead on since 2012. So
right.
Take those numbers for what you may, but there's still a 9% gap in there. So it means people need to get to the poll. So
no question.
Number one. Another big issue is January 6th, people really didn't care for that here, and we're put off by it. Another issue, Ukraine. Iowans have a relationship with Ukrainians through agriculture, so being pro-Russian, stuff like that, turns people off.
Well, 2 things there. Number one, January 6th doesn't happen if not for Donald Trump lying about the 2020 election, which he still does. And number 2, Donald Trump on a presidential debate stage was not willing to answer the question, do you want Ukraine to win? Because he wants Russia to win. He wasn't willing to say it. But he's a coward. He roots for Vladimir Putin and Russia. I truly believe he roots for murderous, evil dictators because he wants to be one himself. That's what I believe.
Yep. And then I'd like to also discuss what you and Congressman Walsh are talking about. The other night I went out, and the rhetoric is getting there. Heard you guys talking about killing immigrants the other night at a Eagles club, if you know what Eagles clubs are.
Just awful.
Awful. It is. And I asked them to step outside and fight me or leave the bar, and they choose the latter, which was probably a good idea on their part.
Did you hear the story, by the way?
I heard
sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to ask you, did you hear the story about this 70-year-old Kamala Harris supporter, this female supporter, and this 17-year-old kid wearing a MAGA outfit punches her in the stomach and got arrested?
I did, and it's horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Terrible.
Horrible. Then I heard a man openly using the N-word today at a coffee shop.
But that's who these people are. Let me be very clear.
It's horrible.
Let me be very clear. And by the way, thank you for the call. Let me be clear on this. Never have I ever said on the air that all Trump supporters are racist. I've never said all Trump supporters are anything, by the way. But I always talk about Donald Trump's base of supporters, the diehards. Many of the diehards, or the base of his supporters, are extremely ignorant and uneducated middle-aged white people, some of them who use the N-word, some of them who punch 70-year-old women, very uneducated people, very stupid people who enjoy their Confederate flags, and when they hear the word the phrase "Make America Great Again," it means "Make America White Again." This is Donald Trump's base. They are not the silent majority. They are the ignorant and uneducated loud minority. And we are going to prove that, I believe, tomorrow on Election Day. Thank you for the call, sir. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Kava's next. Hey, Kava, what's going on, man? Thanks for calling in.
Hi, Brian. How are you doing today?
Good.
So I just want to say something about this election. I'm nervous. I'm worried, but I'm confident at the same time. This isn't, to me, this is no longer just about myself. This is about women's rights. This is about the fact that if the orange orangutan wins, Latin America will be gone. He's
no
going to
question.
do exactly what he told Vladimir Putin to do. He told him to invade Ukraine. He said he could do whatever he wanted to our allies, and that terrifies me.
Well, it
because
terrifies
I
me
came from
too.
Ecuador, as you know.
It terrifies me too, Kava, but I'm going to say this. What you're experiencing is very normal. I'm worried too. I'm nervous as well. What you're experiencing is normal. If you weren't worried, if you weren't nervous, then in my opinion, you wouldn't be a true patriot and you wouldn't be a true American, and we know you are, Kava, so thank you for the call. Let's go to Mark. Mark is next up on PTL. Hey, Mark, what's going on, man?
Hey, thank you, Brian. I've been following politics and whatnot for over 50 years. And I can tell you that I feel nervous, apprehensive, but I feel very, very confident. Now, I don't think this election is as close as what people are saying for a number of reasons. And also, that fella from Iowa, I agree on one point that he stated, and I disagree on another. I disagree that MAGA is communist. They're not communist. They're full-blown fascist. And there's a big difference between the two. Do you agree, Brian?
Yes, I do agree. I do believe Donald Trump is a fascist. I don't know about all of his supporters. I wouldn't put them all in there. But I do think some of his supporters are absolutely.
Well, I truly believe that the Democrats and the president is going to be ready on January 6th. I don't, a lot of people are building this up, but you got to understand that the National Guard has already been deployed
Correct.
in certain states.
You bring up a good point. So, Mark, I tend to agree with you. I think we are certainly more prepared now as a country than we would have been 4 years ago or 8 years ago. So, Mark, I agree with you. Let's hope that we're both right on this. I don't think we're going to see another insurrection. I think we could see an attempt on a coup, but I don't think it's going to be successful. I agree with you, Mark. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Let's go to Millie. Millie is next up on PTL. Hi, Millie.
Hi, Brian. This is my first time calling into the show.
Oh, well, thank you. Where are you calling from?
Des Moines, Iowa.
Iowa. Well, thank you for calling in. What's on your mind today, Millie?
So I've been pondering the idea of, I heard on a newscast one day, I believe it was MSNBC, where they were talking about when Trump was in office and SCOTUS was, when he put the 3 Supreme Court judges on the Supreme Court, and how he killed the investigations into their background.
Yeah.
So people need to know that 4 out of the 6, I don't know too much about the other 2 Republicans on there, are sex offenders.
Yeah.
So my point being was that if he killed those investigations, what do you think he did to Jeffrey Epstein, who has all the information about all these powerful men in the world?
Well, it's a good question. You have Jeffrey Epstein on an audio recording by author Michael Wolff saying a number of things about Donald Trump, including that it was his, quote, closest friend. They want to call Democrats and liberals pedophiles, and they throw that word around left and right. Here you have arguably the biggest pedophile, perhaps in our generation, saying that Donald Trump is his closest friend. But you won't hear Sean Hannity or Fox News talking about that. You won't hear Mark Levin talking about that. No, they'll talk about the comment, the incendiary comment that Joe Biden made about Trump supporters being garbage. They'll be focused on that, but they won't be focused on the fact that Jeffrey Epstein said that Donald Trump was his closest friend. And we're supposed to be led to believe that Donald Trump wasn't having relations with underage girls. Give me a break. They'll talk about Hunter Biden. Look at all that stuff in his laptop. And when I have conversations with these idiots, because that's what they are, they're idiots. They think they know what's in Hunter Biden's laptop, and it's why Tina Peters is in jail right now. You know, she claims she knew everything in Hunter Biden's laptop. I say to people, oh, well, that was people say that was election interference. I say, really? What was in the laptop? What was in the laptop that Hunter Biden was charged with? What crimes are in that laptop? They think they know what's in the laptop. He wasn't charged with anything that was in that laptop. It's mesmerizing to me. They're such hypocrites. These idiots. They're hypocrites.
And Hunter Biden is not running for president.
Thank
so
you. Yes, yeah.
It's irrelevant
right.
information.
You are.
Also,
go ahead.
I mean, he's going to be elected to the most powerful position in the land. I do not support him. I did not vote for him. I voted for Kamala.
Mm-hmm.
But if he was in the most powerful position, and he's just projecting all of his mental illnesses.
Oh, no question. I mean, I'm not a doctor, but I think we all could say that Donald Trump has always been a scumbag, but he has just lost it. Did you see what he was doing with that microphone over the weekend? I think he mistaken the as my producer is trying to. He looks like he's got experience with that. But our producer is making the same motions that Donald Trump did. Did you see what he did with that microphone? I think he mistook the microphone for Vladimir Putin's genitalia. That's what I think. This is a mentally ill man. What was that all about? Could somebody please explain to me what that was all about? Bizarre. Thank you for the call. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Let's go to Christopher. Christopher's next up on PTL. What's up, Christopher?
Well, hello. You actually came up on my YouTube back a few months ago. I've been listening to you off and on, and I have to back you 110%.
Well, I appreciate that, my friend. The check is in the mail. Are you feeling good about this election tomorrow, or what are your thoughts?
I'm feeling very good about this election. Me and my girl are first-time voters, and we're voting blue completely up and down the ballot.
How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 40. She's 32.
Wow.
We were never really much political. I mean, we did follow some politics. I mean, we loved Obama. We loved Clinton.
Right.
And I did like, out of Hillary and John McCain, I did like John McCain.
Okay, but hold on. Let me backtrack, Christopher. You're in your 40s. Your girlfriend is in her early 30s. And I'm glad you're voting, but I want to ask you what changed this election cycle that made you vote here, because you've never voted in your life. What was the difference for you that said, geez, we better go to the ballot box, we better vote?
Donald Trump.
Wow. But interesting, though, because you didn't vote in 2020 or 2016. What changed?
Because I like to have everybody to be treated equal and the rights and our freedoms. And the fact that he was already horrible coming in 2016.
Right.
He was even more horrible 2020. And he just got all this worse right now, and it doesn't help. All of our family and friends are all voting Republican. They're all fully red, and it's like me and her is just so scary that we're just blue right now.
Well, you know what? Don't think of it like that. Don't think of it as you guys voting blue. Think of it as you guys voting for democracy. Think about it as you guys voting on the right side of history. Thinking about it as you guys voting for women and women's reproductive rights. Think of it as you guys voting for equality, as you said. Think about it as you guys voting on the right side of history. Forget about red and blue, because I don't care about that. You guys are voting for equality, and you're voting for the American people, and you're voting for our democracy, my friend. Thank you, Christopher, for the phone call. I appreciate it, and thank your girlfriend for me as well, because if Kamala Harris does win, it's going to be because of people like you. So thank you for the call. 702-221-7283. Marion is next. Hi, Marion. What's going on?
Hey, Brian. I just want to let you know I've called a couple times and I listen to you every day.
Thank
I gave
you.
up my other shows that I used to watch for you.
Thank you.
Anyway, you're talking about Trump, whether he would really want to hurt Liz Cheney or not. I believe in my heart, because I am a clinician, that he would. He does not have empathy. He may do it in a way like Putin does, where he imprisons people and stuff like that. But I honestly believe he would hurt people or kill them if he could.
Well, I hope
if
not.
He can get away with it.
Okay, I hope not. Here's
well,
what
so do I.
Here's what we know for sure.
I think so.
Whether I'm right or wrong, whether you're right or wrong, here's what we both will agree on. That type of language and that rhetoric can incite violence. It is inexcusable. Whether he's serious about it or not, to me, is irrelevant. What's more important is he's saying it publicly. Crazy people can hear what he says. Like when he called CNN fake news, and then somebody sent pipe bombs to CNN, when he tells all of his stupid supporters that he won the 2020 election and the Democrats cheated, we have something called January 6th. So whether he's serious about it or not, we know that he's inciting violence. We know that he will continue to lie whether he wins or loses the election tomorrow, and that's what we need to be focused on, right? And you might be right. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying your opinion's not valid. All I'm saying is we got to get this guy to office, and he's got to go away. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Jack. Jack is next on PTL. Hi, Jack.
Yo, Brian, what's going on?
Not much. What's on your mind?
How much? I was going to win Pennsylvania. She's going to win Pennsylvania. That's off the bat. And I want to throw a scenario by and just want to hear how you would think about it. In 16, he ran, and the people that wanted him to win, they came out and ran. They came out and voted. And like me, like some Democrats, I wasn't all that enthused about Hillary, and I feel bad because I didn't vote that year. It was the only year I didn't vote. So at the end of 16, she beats him by 3 million votes. They get in office, and it's MAGA, MAGA, MAGA. Now, the next election that was coming up is 2020. Every MAGA was coming out to vote for him. So they rallied their troops, and Joe Biden still wins because of the things that Trump did in office that pissed off everybody else off. He wins by 7 million votes. So in this election, I'm asking you, do you think he's gained support from 2020?
Yeah. Good question.
Do you think?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'll give you the best answer I can. And I've actually talked about this before, my friend. I believe Donald Trump has lost supporters. And here's why. I don't think you can find many Joe Biden supporters back in 2020 or even anti-Trump voters that voted for Joe Biden that are going to be voting for Donald Trump this time around. However, there are a lot of moderate Republicans that I speak to all the time. They might not be saying it and shouting it out loud publicly like a Joe Walsh or an Anthony Scaramucci, but privately, they will not be voting for Donald Trump. Now, listen, some of these people might not be voting at all. Amy Tarkanian is a personal friend of mine. She's the former Nevada Republican chairwoman, used to be very pro-Trump. She's not voting for Trump. She's not ready to say she's voting for Harris either. But he's losing support. Doesn't mean that all the people that are not going to be voting for him are going to be voting for Harris. But that's still losing support. When they say, I'm not going to vote for a Democrat, but I'm also not supporting Trump, that's Donald Trump losing support, my friend. I hope I answered your question. Thank you for the call, Jack. Let's go to Laura. Laura's next. Hey, Laura, what's going on?
Oh, yeah, I thought I'd introduce to you guys that last week at one of Trump's rallies, Elon Musk came and bent over him and told the audience, in order to cut the $2 trillion in spending, you're going to have to go through hardship for a couple of years. Nobody's covering that. I don't understand.
Yeah,
why.
I mentioned that last week, and you're referring to Elon Musk before Donald Trump made his speech. And Elon Musk basically admitting that middle-class Americans and those that live paycheck to paycheck are going to struggle under Donald Trump. And Elon Musk basically said, well, just live with it. Listen, many of the billionaires out there in the top 1% that are going to be voting for Donald Trump don't care about middle-class Americans. They don't care about people living paycheck to paycheck because they're a bunch of selfish bastards like Elon Musk. They only care about their own bottom line, and they only care about themselves. Yeah, there's no question the top 1% are going to save more money if Donald Trump wins this election. These are some of the same people that don't care about others. Now, then you have billionaires that do. It could be a Bill Gates. It could be, Mark Cuban. They understand that they're going to have to pay more in taxes, but they understand that it's also better for the economy. It's better for the American people. So you have a certain group of people that are selfish a-holes that don't care about our democracy. They just care about their bottom line and their bank account. And then you have people like Mark Cuban who actually care about middle-class Americans and care about those living paycheck to paycheck. And I commend all of the wealthy individuals in this country that are voting for democracy, not their own bank account. Let's go to Zach. Zach is next on PTL. What's going on, Zach?
Hey, Brian, how are you?
Good. What's on your mind today?
Hey, Brian, how are you?
Good.
Hey, I'm from Illinois, near the Wisconsin border. I've already voted for Harris, and I voted blue down the ticket. I just have a few things out there for those undecided voters who kind of bring up the same issues over and over again. So immigration, I'm going to be quick. I got a couple issues here.
Sure.
But immigration. Trump's last official duty in office, if
did we lose him?
We're not supporting.
Buddy, I am so sorry to do this to you, but it sounds like we lost a connection with you. You feel free to call back. But it sounded like, I don't know, maybe it was the deep state. I don't know. Try calling back. Let's go to Al. Al is next. What's going on, Al?
Hey, how you doing, Brian? Thank you for my call. You guys, I'm a Republican. I'm not a MAGA. Mom's an apple pie. If you don't know what that means, forget it. But anyhow, I read Ralston's article. I think he's just trying to motivate the Democrats. The big issue here in Nevada.
Well, hold on a second. John Ralston.
$1,195
John,
a month.
hold on a second.
Food.
You think
we
John?
Went down
hold
to
on.
The,
Al.
Fest, talking
Al.
to the Hispanic community.
Al.
Many of them are voting for
Al,
Trump.
can you stop talking
Many of
for
them
a moment?
Are aware that
Al,
food is
pot
just
him down.
ridiculous.
Okay. Al, the idea that John Ralston gives an opinion and you don't like it or agree with it is one thing. But to say that John Ralston is saying that Kamala Harris is going to win because he's trying to motivate Democrats is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. It'd be the contrary to that. If he said that she was trailing, that would motivate the Democrats. What are you talking about? Just because you don't agree with an opinion, you think John Ralston is biased? Is that what you're saying, Al?
Of course. Of course. A lot of people are saying that he's just saying that to motivate the Democrats to go vote.
Okay, let's go with that. So you think it motivates Democrats to vote to say that the person they want to win is leading in the polls? That's the opposite. That's why Hillary Clinton lost. What are you talking about? If you want to motivate the Democrats, you'd say, this is a really close election. I don't know who's going to win. Wouldn't that make more sense to you? In my opinion, you're not making any sense. Why would somebody say a Democrat's going to win, and why would that motivate people? It's the opposite.
Because they want to get a bigger win. They want to be on the winning team.
Al, I disagree with you, but go ahead. I
That's
disagree.
fine. Not a problem. That's fine.
I disagree with you. Did he hang up the phone? Okay, yeah. All right. Thanks, Al. Al, hopefully I motivated you to vote for Kamala Harris. Boy, that's the first time I ever heard that before. Let's take one more call, then we got to go to break. Let's go to Matt. Matt is next up on PTL. Hey, Matt, what's going on, man?
Hi, Brian. First-time caller. Calling from Santa Rosa, California, Sonoma County.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm 41 years old. I'm Jewish. Liberal, Democrat, proud Kamala supporter. I wanted to ask your opinion. I don't think this gets talked about enough. Every time I hear ads on TV from the MAGA idiots and all this nonsense, they keep calling him President Trump, which really bothers me. Last time I checked, he's not the president. I mean, why do they do this? What is your opinion on that?
Well, I think that, first of all, I would call him President Adjudicated Rapist. That's what President Cheeto Jesus, President Orange Turd, number one. He's the former president of the United States. Sadly, we can't take that away from him, but he's also been impeached twice. The people that call him Mr. President are the same people that call him Superman, the same people that buy his Bibles, the same people that spend $600 to buy his gold sneakers. I'm not surprised. These are people that make him out to be some sort of superhero because when he walks, tries to get into a garbage truck, the guy almost falls on his ass. The man walks around with his girdle and his 4 hair transplants and his fake teeth and his fake tan. And he wakes up and puts on 8 layers of his orange makeup. He looks like a clown. How anybody could look at this guy as anything other than a very weak, obese imbecile and a liable rapist is beyond me. I don't like using the word president in his name in anything, but if you want to throw in the same sentence sexual abuser and felon, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. And also, I am a paratransit driver for developmentally disabled adults and elderly adults. And on my route, I see signs overwhelmingly for Kamala, which I love seeing.
Good.
But I also see signs for Trump. I see houses with Trump flags and all that nonsense. And I keep saying, take America back, make America great again. Take America back from what?
Well, I'll tell you, it's a really good question. I talk about this all, and thank you, by the way, for the call, sir, and thank you for what you do for your work. Sounds like you're a really good man, and I appreciate you. Make America great again means make America white again. Take America back. I think a lot of these people want to go back to slavery days. They want to go back. They want to make sure that the white people in this country are the dominant people. These are mainly white supremacist and alt-right fringe groups and alt-right racist bigots out there when they use that term, make America great again. There are Republicans in this country that don't think women should vote. Charlie Kirk basically said it. They don't think that women should have a voice, that you have to vote the same way your husband votes. That's what make America great again means to these bigoted, racist imbeciles.